If you clicked on the video just to check the list of anxiety body symptoms, then please jump ahead to the time at the bottom of your screen now. However, please indulge me in what I'm about to say, as I think it's one of the most important points anyone should know if they're trying to get on top of their anxiety. Anxiety feels horrible, there's just no other way to put it. Feeling anxious can cause all sorts of uncomfortable body symptoms, which we're going to discuss in this video. Please understand, these body symptoms, ironically, are happening because your brain is trying to help you. It thinks it needs you to get ready to combat a physical threat, even if the situation you're in contains no physical danger, but instead contains a social or emotional threat to it. Now, if you're actually facing a physical threat, then it's good job, brain. All the things that are happening in your body are absolutely essential, and if you survive the threat, then there'll be that sense of relief and the body symptoms will all have been worth it. Those who suffer from anxiety have usually adapted their behaviour to avoid situations which make them feel this way. In therapy, we hope by making people aware of exactly why they feel the body signs they do when they're anxious, it takes away some of the mystery and it takes away some of that fear that people have of these body feelings and make the situations that little bit easier to face. If you're still with me, thank you. Let's get into the 8 most common body signs of anxiety. Number 1, a fast heart. Adrenaline and cortisol are released by the brain to make the heart beat faster, get the blood to the muscles so you can fight or run away from a threat. If you're sitting at a desk at school or at work, or you're lying in your bed, this is a time where you shouldn't really be noticing your heartbeat, so it can be really scary, and this is why some people can say it feels like they're having a heart attack. To combat this fast heart rate, we need to think about breath work, which brings me on to number 2. Number 2. Quick breathing. Quick breathing happens because the blood is travelling faster around the body and the blood needs to be oxygenated in order to be useful to our muscles. For some people, it can feel like although they're taking lots of breaths, they actually can't breathe properly, and this is because they're taking lots of breaths in and not enough proper breaths out, meaning they've got a surplus of carbon dioxide in their lungs, leading to that suffocating feeling. What I mean by not enough breaths out, but too many breaths in, is to do with short, shallow breaths. So when we go, those were 3 really kind of intense inward breaths, and there wasn't that outward breath to match it. And when that happens, it leads to that imbalance. There's a whole load of breathing exercises available which can help us take control of our breathing. Keep an eye out for one on this channel in the future. Number 3, shaking. When the blood is in your muscles and you're able to fight off a threat or run away from it, you've used that energy well, and although there may be some leftover adrenaline, it shouldn't feel altogether unpleasant. However, if you don't get the chance to use that energy by fighting or running away, let's say you're sitting in a classroom, you're feeling anxious but not wanting to draw any attention to yourself. That energy that's in your muscles needs something to do, and that's where the trembling and the shaking can come from. Some people might also feel tingling in their hands or their feet. The explanation is the same. If you notice that you tremble or get fidgety, fidget toys and muscle relaxation strategies can be a good way of managing this particular body symptom. Number 4, sweating. Your muscles are more or less just under the surface of your skin. Your blood's heated, so you feel warmer and you get hotter. What happens when our surface body temperature increases? We sweat to bring it down. It feels unpleasant, but it's a really simple explanation. Number 5, butterflies in the stomach. Butterflies in your stomach are feeling as though you have a nervous stomach, even feeling like you might be sick or have to run to the toilet. All of this happens because the blood that is now in your muscles has just come from your organs, and the digestive organs are some of the biggest. This sudden change is what causes that unpleasant feeling of butterflies. If you can imagine a factory losing electricity and just powering down, screeching to a halt, that's what's happening when the blood leaves these organs. When we're in a state of anxiety, our body is only going to prioritise the functions necessary for our survival in the short term. Eating is not one of those short-term functions. Number 6, a dry mouth. Since we won't be eating, there's no need to produce saliva. But if we're anxious in a situation like an interview for the job we really want, that's a really unhelpful response because it affects the way we talk and just adds to the uncomfortable, awkward nature that interviews already are. Don't be scared by getting a dry mouth, just always take water with you. I can be a wee bit nervous making these videos, so always one in hand. Number 7, a sore head. There can be lots of explanations for a sore head, such as dehydration if we're sweating or overheating because of the change in our blood flow. However, a really common explanation is down to how intensely we think, how rapid our thoughts can be when our brain thinks we're in a dangerous situation. Again, if we're in a life-threatening situation, we want our brain to be able to rapidly access all of our thoughts and memories looking for a solution that's going to help us. Most of the time, we don't want our brains to be doing this for emotional and social threats. We want to feel relaxed, we want to feel casual. It just makes our situation even more miserable if we're having to deal with very intense, rapid thoughts in a fast and fluid situation. Distractions and mindfulness techniques can really help us here, so please look out for future videos all about those. Number 8. Dizziness. The last body symptom links back to how our breathing is impacted by anxiety. If we're taking these short, shallow breaths, we've got too much oxygen in our system because we're not breathing out the CO2 effectively. Oxygen is fuel for not only our blood and muscles, but for our brain as well. Too much causes us to feel a bit high, a bit giddy, and eventually we might become dizzy on the verge of passing out. Focusing on breathing consistently, trying to bring that heart rate down, is how we can avoid this. So, that was the 8 most common body signs of anxiety. Again, the hope is that by understanding why your body feels this way at times, these feelings alone don't contribute to what is already a pretty negative situation, and you're in a better place to manage the situation rather than having anxiety increased through fear of what's going on in your body. If you haven't already, please check out this channel's first ever video, which is the 4 facts about anxiety everyone should know, and I'll have that linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, we'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.